this latest episode of Mind Matters, I have the pleasure of chatting with Tip Cullen, former Royal Marine, who is now an actor and 30 years in the Corps. My God, you get less for murder.
Stand easy. Oh, I know. But it's your passion, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is a passion. And I think going from one passion to another, and having looked at your bio, the stuff you're doing, trained as an actor with the Actors Wheel Company in Plymouth, BA honours degree in acting, funded by the Legion, helped out with that by the Legion, which I think is phenomenal. That's a really good. I didn't realise that they would.
I think with that, the Legion helped with some of the productions we've done since it.
Okay.
But not education-wise. That was done through, obviously, being an on-grad was obviously support from obviously the services with LCAS, and because it's quite an expensive thing to get through university, so that massively helped.
It's fantastic. I mean, the things, breaking into, took part in the Challenge of Recovery Through the Arts production, Boots at the Door, in December 2015.
That was a great stepping stone for me and my transition. And I have to say, it was like a door, and it was, I don't know, destiny or whatever else in that. But I can spin that and tell you that story, because that's an incredible.
Yes, please do. I'd love to.
Well, when I the sort of came when I was at 4-2 Commando as a captain in 4-2 Commando. So I joined up as a recruit, as a Marine, went through every rank up to the rank of captain, and I left as a captain. But it was a moment post the last tour in Afghanistan on Head 14. I was a 4-2 Commando as the imprest holder. Okay. So I was sat in front of the computer screen, and I was at that stage in my career where I'd done about 27 years, and I was wearing my reading glasses, looking at a computer screen, and I was very fortunate in my career to spend most of my time playing commandos, or doing what I wanted to do, and be a sort of frontline commando within the Royal Marines, which was, that's what I wanted to do. So a realization happened, and I was also in the same commando unit as my son. And I looked across and went, maybe there's something else in this life. And I had a bit of an epiphany, and I said, look, I'm going to have to move on. I'm going to have to do something else. What am I going to do? And for me, it was being a Royal Marine and an Irishman. We're storytellers, aren't we? So for me, right, I've got to I want to tell story. I want to be my own boss. I want to create something. I want to, not have a legacy, but also I wanted to commemorate and remember the guys that never made it back, and maybe tell their stories, or help telling their stories, or do something that I can always make sure their memories are kept on the line. So whether I'm writing or performing, it's just, for them, really. So I looked at it, went to Marjon University, went, right, I'm looking at creative writing. I think, being who I am, I might be a good storyteller. And I linked up with the people in the university, and went into the sort of the creative arts side of things, and with creative writing. But there was this degree in acting. And then I just had a little flashback to what life as a Royal Marine was. And from an early rank, you always have to be a performer, whatever it is, like, whether you're standing up as a Lance Corporal, giving your first lecture, giving your first lecture, cracking on with it, right up to, you get out the door and you're in charge of a bunch of, Marines and soldiers and sailors, where you're going, right, we're going to be in contact with the enemy today. And in a way, I'm quite apprehensive, but they look at me and go, right, you have to perform. So I'm there at the front, same threat to life, but you have to perform, and you have to do it for your people. So in reality, that form of acting is real time, is real life. So I thought, no, that's what we do. We act all the time. And then look at the terminology we use. We go to a theatre of operations. Everything we do, we have to rehearse. Yes. And you measure it always on your performance, how you perform. So I'm going, there's so many things, and maybe it was one of those, that's what I should be doing. So, that's, it was like an epiphany going, now that's why I need to storytell. So took that was my new focus. And after 30 years where I was completely focused on, you know, being career-wise, being a Royal Marine and my family as well, I thought, no, I need to be a performer, a stand up, tell stories, and make it believable. And hopefully, as we move forward, it's kind of happening. So that's how I ended up as an actor as such, and the journey as an actor started from that stage. But go back to the boots at the door. When it came and I made a transition, and I went from, right, I've got to get into university, I've got to do an audition. So what do you do? So I had to, right, you Google things that you're going to have to do a monologue or do this. So I picked a few classic monologues as such, and a couple of contemporary ones, done my audition and got a place on the course at the BA Honours Acting course, which is brilliant. But just at that point in time, it's in the summer, I'll be leaving the corps and moving into university in the summer of 2015 it was. And there was this performance with the RBL, Bravo 22 company, backed by the Drive project. And it was to put on a bespoke from people's, you know, memories, written by Jonathan Guy Lewis, called Boots at the Door. And it was going to be performed at the Theatre Royal in Plymouth. So I told my lecturers, going, yeah, I've got this thing, you know, is it all right? They're going, so hold on a second, you're going to get to perform on the lyric stage at the Theatre Royal in Plymouth. I'm going, yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? You know, I go, I've never had that opportunity. So they were all quite jealous. So, but again, the storyline with it, Boots at the Door, is about operations, about loss, it's about difficulties within families and service families due to, you know, the impact of PTSD, you know, the mental, the hardships that families have to go through. And it was an incredible play. And the characters that I played, it was a bit ensemble, but I played a few main characters. It was quite, I could really dig deep because there's so many of my kind, probably even myself, that I'd been through what the character had been suffering. And I hope it brought believability. And as an opportunity as an actor, and I feel that as well with a lot of the projects I've done, when part of you as an actor is able to negotiate and become the character so much more because of your life experience, it's a great help. And for me, it's also telling the story of the people that it means so much to me, and maybe they aren't here now.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine that was just a very honest performance. Yeah, from that perspective, absolutely. I haven't actually seen it, but I would love to see it.
Oh well, I mean, again, it was before Christmas 2015, performed at Theatre Royal, but it got me embedded with the people at Bravo 22, the RBL theatre aspect of things. Like I say, run by the incredible people at the Drive project, and I managed from there to keep doing productions. I also done an associate producer associate director on a play we done at Birmingham called Reparation Island in Birmingham. Big theatre in Birmingham. I'll remember it in a second. And that's probably what I remember, working these lines a bit more, but done that. But one of the big ones we'd done was Unspoken, which was another RBL play. And this came nearly the end of my actor training, and I got involved with it. It was the character and the story I played is very deeply embedded with the person I am and my family background and generations away, because my great-grandfather died in the Battle of the Somme. And I told the story, and the connection was between generations going, fighting wars, loss, but also why generation, because obviously he did it. There's a gap between my father. I was named after my great-grandfather, named after my father. And then it came to me, and I made my decision and destiny, especially from the place I'm from, to do what I did. Yeah. And then also my son had a deployment operation. So you had that journey of potential loss, but loss as well. And why, you know, we as a society, as a culture, you know, we do that sort of thing. And we feel honor bound to do it in some respects, but also, you know, to protect the freedoms that we have. I can see in the foreseeable future, there's always going to be that need, which is quite scary, especially when you do have, you know, children and grandchildren growing up. and you really do want the world to be a far better and more peaceful place. But as you can see now, it's still we're always on tenterhooks with what's going to happen globally.
Well, absolutely, and even just as close to home as Liverpool, just the weekend. Jeez, I mean, that's lucky escape with that one, really.
Oh, completely. And I also think because of the technology we have now, just those images of the taxi pulling in, all of a sudden it just happens. In that instant, a life's lost. It could have been potentially, mass catastrophic. But just in that instant, and it's happened to so many of our friends, well, that instant, so many people's lives and destinies change because of that. And I think we always have to protect our people and society, in some way.
Well, we have no choice. We have to do it, don't we? When you're I think for me, you nailed it with duty bound. We have it's there to be done, and not everyone wants to do it or is capable of doing it.
Yeah, but I mean that goes on to, I'm not a politician. I'm a former Royal Marine who's an actor now. But that goes on to the climate. We have to look after climate. We have to look forward for our generations, so that the freedoms and the love and the compassion that our country and our culture holds, we can just keep doing it.
Yeah, it's there to be used.
Yeah,
definitely, 100%. So from Unspoken to Ready Player One and Kingsman 2, how did that come about?
Well, that was it. Right, this is it, because this is the bootneck, isn't it? Bootneck gives it right. Got to be an actor, so what's this film number like? What happens in film? So I became an extra, and was lucky enough to get a SPAC role, so it's more of a specialist support, firearms and that, and what we have in the Royal Marines. So I got to shoot up a building in Kingsman 2. Which was a good 10-day evolution. But for me, it was an education. So one, you're working on a very big production, on a set. What does he do? What does the first do? What does the director do? What's the thing? What do the grips do? What do this do? You know what I mean? So it's all, for me, it was completely educational and experience and exposure. But I also think it brings you down to earth in a way, because they're all human beings. Every single person out there is a human being, just cracking on and trying to make magic. And I enjoyed that. And obviously, there's different ways of making magic. And the experience I got from working on, on Kingsman 2 with the production team and the people and that, the director, to working on Ready Player One, where I still, this is probably my best story as an actor so far. So Ready Player One, I was an extra, but a supervisor in the IOI, or in the bubble as such. In the storyline, in this sort of computer, sort of technical world where there's a virtual reality existence. And I was like a supervisor on the floor in this virtual reality building. And this is like Steven Spielberg directing. And when you're on set, you're looking and just chatting away, just doing a few bits and pieces. And you sort of Google the people afterwards, and you go, well, who's that? And it was the A team of movie making, from the grips to the director of photography to everything. It was just complete. Oh, this was the A team. You could see the friendship and banter was like a bunch of Royal Marines just about to go on patrol or about to go in Norway. It's just, they had it, but they were just making this perfection, this massive, sort of full, logistical framework setup, all focused on just that little pointy end where people are just doing the business, which again, so much like the military as well. But my Steven Spielberg bit is, I was going, Olivia Cook, I think, was the, but she was the main character, female character. She was like, I just sort of press a button. I was looking straight in her eyes, just not far away from her. And I just I had to sort of press a button to make her the flash that she's inside her virtual reality space.
Okay.
And the boom of the cameras coming behind me and that. And it's just, can we cut that, reset? I'm just sort of sitting there chilling, as I reset that. I had this little shuffle beside me. And I go, hey, Tip, I like your rhythm, man. Just keep your rhythm good, man. Yeah. And I look around, and it's Steven Spielberg, and I just thought, that's it, I'm sorted. The bloke at me at E.T. and Jaws has just said he likes my rhythm, even though I'm just pressing the button and looking at the screen. But in another 30 seconds, so I'm pressing the button, looking at obviously Olivia, she's doing the bits and pieces, and then I look around, see her, and I'm sort of going, just having a little reflection and thought of that, and then a guy walks off from the right, and I'm going, all right, John. And this is a mate of mine from the Royal Marines, who we go back quite a long way. We're corporals together in support company back and forth to many, many moons ago. And he goes, "What are you doing?" So, "What are you doing?" And he's Steven Spielberg was standing the other side of me. He went, "I'm looking after him." And I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" "I'm in the movie." And it was just that little sort of three blokes who just gone, and I just got to hold that little story, just shows you that, it is a very small world, but, I enjoyed it. And again, purely, I done that from my educational experience as an actor. And I don't think you're going to get better education in the world of movie making than being on set with Steven Spielberg, and which is good. And I'm still waiting for the call to get me back and do a bit of an acting job, but hey ho, might as well just keep your fingers in the pies.
Absolutely, yes. You have to, as many as possible.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, isn't it?
So, how did going at the Soldiers Arts Academy and doing the Shakespeare and Remembrance? That's must have been quite a difference.
Well, that transition was, again, it was just one of these. It was an opportune moment. Something came along, and we were just finishing the national tour with Unspoken. Again, Unspoken was incredible storyline, incredible play. We took it to Edinburgh, and then we done a national tour with it, and then we finished it. Initially, we had it at Newcastle Theatre Royal. Then we took it to Edinburgh. Then we done a national tour, and we finished at Sadler's Wells in London. And one of the cast in that were all veterans' families, and it was incredible. It was a really, really polished, and well delivered, incredible story, and a great performance and a great play. And I think it's one would, it's quite enduring. It could possibly still tour that if there was an appetite for finance. But it was a brilliant time. But near the end of that, I heard of the Soldiers Arts Academy, and they were looking in November. So we're finishing summertime, looking at November for to do a ensemble stroke, connection with Shakespeare and Remembrance, and that was going to be done in this Sam Wanamaker stage at Shakespeare's Globe on the evening of 100 years from the armistice being signed. And I sort of scripted a monologue just in connection sort of with that relationship between my great grandfather through to myself and my son, and interlaced with and I use the people, the Shakespeare gurus at the Globe, and they sort of give me parts from Shakespeare, little sort of elements of it that I could sort of put in and sort of sideways put it in, and so go from telling the story as myself to flipping into a Shakespeare character and delivering one line which is most apt and sort of connected with what we were going on about.
Okay.
And I done it, and it was an it was an unbelievable experience. So you're there, candlelit, Sam Wanamaker, really emotional day with a lot of them. The people there had all connections to trauma and life and families and loss and remembrance. And when I got up and gave a monologue, it was quite weird. So I got up, and it's so powerful just being in that space, even though it's relatively new. You get that feel that you are on the stage, when Shakespeare was banging out his plays. And I was on the stage, and I went in there, and it's like packed, like 300 people in a very tight, confined, oldie worldy sort of stage. And you look up, and everyone's just above you and beside you, and it's all around you. And I give it. And when I remember finishing it, because it's quite a powerful thing, and you become the character, and you follow the journey of the story. And it allows you little avenues to sort of snap out, do something, focus on, very similar, but a completely different character, then back into the story, then back out, back in. And when I finished it, and I sort of finished, and it's like an abrupt finish and walk off, there wasn't even a clap. And I said, well, it got off. And it wasn't that, it was just because it's quite emotional. I went, and I think just when you end it, when it finished, it was just on those words, just sort of bring it down to zero. And it was such a transition onto the next sort of, part of the ensemble, part of the act, or part of the play. Yeah. That everyone was out. And because at the end of it, I spoke to the producer. I said, why wasn't nobody? And Amanda just said, I think they were just gobsmacked. So, but I watched the other people there, and the other stories that were told on that night. Yeah, were absolutely incredible, and they were so emotional, thinking about loss and contemporary wars and families, and there's daughters and children just talking about the loss, the loved ones that died in theatre, and it was an incredible bit of history. I think just being able to perform there and do it and to tell the stories that we were able to tell. So again, that's another it's a high point, but a very emotional point from a career as well. And,
Yeah.
and I since then I was able to. We worked doing. They brought us in to work and do the chorus work for the Merry Wives of Windsor in the summer of 2019, just before COVID. Everything was normal, and it seems like, well, I was like, it's gone 2 years ago, but it was unbelievable experience meeting some quality actors, Shakespearean actors, but also meeting the people at Shakespeare's Globe, and I feel like part of the family there now. It's just it's an incredible place, and I would always love to I always love getting back there anyway, even for a cup of coffee and just a bit of banter with the people there. But it's nice to get back and do workshops or perform there whenever I get the chance. So that's definitely some place that I'll always have a bit of home there.
Okay, no, it's just I suppose because it was such an emotional production, it just just gives that deeper connection, doesn't it?
It does as well, but I think it's where it was, where the Globe is, it's just across the river from St. Paul's, and when the bells are going, that and that's been ringing like that for a long, long time since before the song. And I'm just thinking it was nice to do it in that atmosphere and that set. It was brilliant.
Yeah. So I think it kind of leaping back a little bit in some respects, how in terms of obviously as an actor, you have to be very in tune with your emotions and be able to play with them and kind of take control of them, to utilize them to perform. Was there anything from the core that enabled you to do that, or was there anything that kind of got in the way? Well,
that was, I think, when I was training to become an actor, that was my biggest challenge, and I didn't realize when I started the journey. And then when you get in the space and when you're improvising or creating things, when it becomes to an emotional storyline or your character, it has to be believable. There's nothing worse than seeing somebody acting. I mean, a classic is Amanda, who was one of my lecturers. She was there going, I do part of the play where I walk down and she's like, right, Tip, can you go back and do that again? And we just stop bloody acting. And I was like going, I see what you mean. So you got to be completely believable. So that means you have to go and reach the places in your memory and life experience to get the credibility. And for me, that was a really hard thing to do, because the places I had to go to, and I just thought, hold on a second, I'm sort of in a way utilizing the memory of my lost friends and comrades, as a cheat, as a I'm using that memory to get to make a falsehood. You know what I mean? And that was, I couldn't do that. My integrity and and the honor and the thought. No, they're too special. They're too sacred. I can't do that. So I had to have it took a long, hard think of about a month or so just to think about, well, why am I doing this? Why am I becoming an actor? And it's because I can, because I've got the opportunity to do this. So that was the realization that this is for them. This isn't for me. So everything I do is for the people that didn't make it, didn't get back. So I had to break that wall down. And I think as a Royal Marine, especially when you've been through, pretty testy times, you build up a resistance. You have to build up a resistance, because it's, I think, and I think when we look at issues and things that happen to people now, they struggle with their experiences. So for me, I built up that resistance. The resistance was there, and I had to really work hard to break down that wall and welcome back my friends and speak to them and say, look, I need you to help me here. And to be honest, they're always there for me, and it works. When you're doing theatre work, it's good to, I want to tap into them and see them and speak to them and sort of So anything, if anyone says to me, oh, that was an incredible performance, really believable, and I said, look, the reason it's believable is because of them. It's not because of me. It's not because oh, you're an incredible actor. It's not. It's because I've got people that aren't here that I need to speak for. So that's an important thing for me.
Yeah.
And I'll always, I've been feeling it now because they're always there, you know what I mean? And I want them to be there, you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
But in that way, I managed to break that wall down, and and it's for them. So whenever I have to tap into that, that emotional character who's having an emotional journey, I just visit my friends and just say, come and help me here. And they're always there.
Yeah. I can relate to that in my own way.
Yeah.
I'm sure people listening to this will totally get that.
It's that resistance we build, and we have to build that. And I think it's not only for service people on operations, it's for people that deal with trauma day in, day out in the NHS, in care homes, and what I mean? Now they see real life death, what I mean? People work in community, people that, support people in the community, to deal with trauma and going. So it's a universal thing. You have to build that resistance up so you can help people. But there is a time where you got to break that wall down and tap into yourself and your emotions and have a wee cry every once in a while.
Yes, this is the thing that I've found with a lot of the guys that I've treated is exactly that, is that they're afraid to kind of break down that wall, because we have to protect, as you said, we have to protect ourselves from our own emotion, because we can't feel compassion for somebody as we crash through a door and shoot them in the face. Doesn't work.
But okay, yeah, and that's a split second, but that split second will last for you forever. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But again, it's that unless you talk about it, unless you understand, and I think as well, even in split second decisions, especially in my own personal case, every time that I've had to pull a trigger, it was life or death, and it was for a reason. But I'd also say that in my career in the Royal Marines, 30 years, about 0.0001% was actually that, thing. The rest of the time, on operations wise, was really supporting people, whether it be feeding people, helping build, rebuild their lives and that, or stop, in civil war routine, or just, to me, my whole life has been more of a, and it's not, I mean, I can say it's been more of a, not a savior, I'm there as protector, to respect, the values and honor that I have and lucky to have where I come from, to be able to sort of in some way use that, that it's not moral high ground, but just use it to protect people and just give that, because like I say, we're all exactly the same, we're all human being. And if I can give a little smile of face or a little bit of comfort, a bit of food, and going, job done. That's what it's about.
Yep. Big part of the Royal Marines is hearts and minds, isn't it? And supporting and protecting communities that don't have it.
And I think with the Royal Marines, because you're trained in such a condition, in such a way, you give that confidence to other places of England. Give that confidence, because you've got this band of incredibly strong, physically strong, robust, and kind-hearted. Maybe people say, no, it's not. I said, no, completely. These are some of the people I've met in the Royal Marines are, without doubt, not only the physically sort of strongest people I've ever met, but also that mentally, and also with bigger hearts than so many. I'd say they're an incredible bunch. But again, remember, there's arseholes everywhere in there. So, but I think in the core we have a disproportionately massive group of good people. Like,
yeah, I think it does attract a different kind of person.
Yeah, and that's, and also the diversity within the Royal Marines is, if you say that, we all come from different corners of, I'd say, even the world. Not only not only our islands, but different world, and we sort of come there with that same thought. We have to achieve the same thing. We have to get to the same level, and we have to, deliver at the end of it. And the quality and the characters I've met is gobsmacking. In fact, I'd say there's so many of them on the telly now, which I trained him, I trained him, I took him, I remember him, and you know what I mean? So, which I don't mind, because it means that they're moving on and they're doing like, you know, bits and pieces. It's brilliant to see, but it's just that isn't just like, you know, in the sort of like in the sort of the public eye, but some of the things that Royal Marines have went on to do, supporting other people and even entrepreneurship and everything else. They've just got this little bit of magic that, I mean, you know as well, so I know that when you go into a room, you sort of sense there's like an aura, and you're going, did you used to be a Royal Marine? And it's you're like that. And straight away they're going, yeah, I think I know you. But it's just an aura, and people like, but I have to admit, when we've done Shakespeare's Globe, and this is just I guess it's the classic Royal Marine sort of scenario. There was it was a big sort of, you know, cross board service people. So you have people from, you know, all branches of the armed forces and their families, you know, involved with the production. But I knew Cassidy Little was on it. Cassidy was a good friend of mine, Cassidy, but Cassidy was in the performance. So I knew Cassidy was a former Royal Marine. So that was the first time we sort of met personally, even though we'd operated close by each other on different, you know, at times.
Yeah.
But for him, so I knew he was Royal Marine, but there's these other two young guys that we were doing rehearsals now. I was watching them do, like, you know, part of their ensemble. And there's these two little young lads, by comparison to me, they were young lads. I just saw they're absolutely, they had a little spark, the energy, the magic, everything, that intellect, everything. I'm going, well, it just shows you, you know what I mean? You get quality everywhere, and you do in the armed forces. You get quality everywhere.
Yes.
And when we got on the main stage, it was one of them just turned around, should we get a bootneck for? And I went, I knew it. I knew it. And my bootneck radar had failed me. I went, they must be. But then I thought, no, come back. They can't be, because obviously there's magical people everywhere. But it's just there's certain aspects of the way they, you know, the way they sort of like projected themselves. Straight away, I should have just let your bootneck radar run with it. It just goes bang, and I was at, and it was. So there's four of us there, and it was just four going, we're the bootnecks, and it was quite. But you know, it was one of those moments. Though you go in a room going, I can tell.
Yes, they're in here. Where are they? I
know it is. It's just bonkers. Or as soon as you start chatting to them after a while, they go, oh yeah, you spend the night. I knew it was just. And I don't know, but it's a subconscious thing. I don't know, but you suss it, and some, a hell of a lot of my friends that weren't Royal Marines, they suss it straight away as well. They're going, you used to be a bootneck, didn't you? So it's just there's something that, and we're not separate. We're fully part of society, but there's a little bit of magic with Royal Marines, I think.
There is. You know, one of the things that I just how many sods operas?
Yeah. Well, no, but that's it. Well, it's a classic. When I was at university, when I started actor training, it was, have you got any background in theatre work or, you know, film? I'm going, we have this thing called sods operas in the Royal Marines, and you know, it's ships operatic and drama societies from the old days when you're on board, and everyone used to go up and do the skits for, you know, obviously to make fun out of the sort of management, the officers in charge.
Yeah.
And I said to him, and he was like, oh, I think I've heard about these things. But I have to admit that the sods operas that we've all done, I think some of the talent, and obviously there's a lot of darkness there as well, but some of the talent and the comedy and the ability and the talent of the people that we done it with was gobsmacking. I mean, even now I'm thinking, I've got these little chuckles, because we can all remember sods opera sketches that people are doing, which the talent was unbelievable. And also that, you know, the way we pushed the boundaries so much, I just thought, you know, it was incredible, like, especially in Norway. I mean,
and it covered everything. There was lighting, there was set creation.
Yes, there was
hair and makeup. There was costume.
Yeah, but everything. Yeah, I mean, that was it. There was probably permanent marker for your lipstick and everything else. But it was, you know, it was done. There was a curtain. There was, like, it was all the pomp and ceremony with the stage production goes into the sods opera, and it's all just through efforts, the costume making and that. Like, yeah, I mean, it's just incredible. Like, and it is that effort too. And while I mean, this sort of leads on to another thing, because you can see that I at that stage, when I was in the Marines, was I could see the benefit of the sods opera. You know, that ability to get up and pretend to be somebody else and do it and have fun and do this sort of thing. I seen that, and whilst I was doing my actor training, there was a module called the community-centered actor. And I thought about, right, what am I going to do about this? There's a full spectrum to support the community through the arts. But I thought I have to think about my people. So I approached Hasler Company in Plymouth and asked, could I do maybe a couple of workshops, acting workshops with people that are down there in the company. And they let me go ahead with it. So I done 2 workshops, and I focused. The first one was on swords operas. You know what I mean? So it went through, like, as any actor would know, like, went through a workshop. So we'd do an warm up, we'd do different exercises, get everyone talking, get everyone engaging. You're in the space, you're cracking on with it. And then we went into swords operas, and we just went in through, right, pick your best swords opera sketch. The classic sort of like swords opera sketches. Right, let's go for it. And there's so many people that were struggling both with mental health issues and physical injuries. But, there's a group of maybe about 10, 15 of them. And the lights just went on, and they transformed, and I could see the magic. It was, especially, I'd say that, and this was a, diverse part of the armed forces, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, different, all colors, all cap badges, everything, all the people were there. And it's still that little bit of magic of, the people that won the bootlegs and knew what swords opera was about. They sort of led with it. They had that little bit of magic and, got themselves going, but they were able to transform. And even the characters, you could see, instead of being in that dark place, it allowed them to, get away from and separate from it. And then I thought it really went well. And then we'd done another workshop, and this time we based it on the Two Worlds of Charlie F, which was the first production done by Bravo 22.
Okay.
And they've got an education pack online. So I got the education pack offline, and right, we'll do that. And we, just follow the pack. Exactly the same, like workshop, get in, warm up, get the space, get themselves focused on it. And then we started going through it. And what I see now is just that, and I done it in a selfish way because I'm doing a module at university. But when I seen what benefits these people got through that opportunity in the space to go through their memories, go through what they've been through, but transform it and become somebody else and be the person that was on the other end of the wire, the person that commanded them in scenarios they'd done. And it was gobsmackingly mind-opening. It was like, my God, this really, really works.
Yeah.
People are benefiting massive from this.
Yeah.
And again, in my selfish way, I'm going, I can't follow this, because I knew then I would get wrapped up in that, and that would become the focus of my career, rather than, I've got to become a successful actor so that then I can go back in there and go, this magic. But it's that confidence I have now that getting people in the space and talking about their issues or their problems is really, I'd say, and I'm not a doctor or a medical, thing, but I'd say for the mental health of people, it's incredible. And if it's done in a measured and safe, environment,
yes,
it's incredibly beneficial.
Yes. Well, absolutely. One of the key things for people who are struggling with trauma and chronic stress and depression, etc., is state change, to change them out of that state they're in.
Yeah.
And that does, especially when they're with other people who they feel safe with.
Yeah. And like I say, Si, it's one of those, it was an accidental awakening for me. It was like, but it was mind blowing. It was like, I get it now. I really do get it.
Yeah.
And all those little adventures that I've had training as an actor and becoming an actor, it has really educated me on what people, on people themselves, on human beings, and where we are and what can help them, and love and kindness and everything else that goes with it. And I think in the space, if you've got a safe space, vulnerable people can really it can change their lives, I think.
Yeah. 100%. And it's something that we need more of.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it is. And like I say, but it's investments, all down to finance, do we go afford it to do this? But it's just, it's in that spine of our mental health through the NHS or even support charities. If we can get something up and running, and I do see it with Bravo 2 too, because the productions we've done, there were people that were vulnerable who've been suffering quite a bit, and the opportunities they were given, and Soldiers Arts Academy, they've been given for them to step up and get involved. It has transformed them, and I'd say they're more of an example of the benefits of theatre than I am, because I see myself as quite a, you know, well-rounded character who's got strong support to be who I am, what I am, but a lot of people don't have that. And I have seen, you know, seismic changes in people from you know, through Bravo 22 and the Social Arts Academy. So I can definitely see the benefit for veterans, and of course that then means for the wider community as well.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, that's, and what a beautiful thing to be able to see as well, that change in people who've been really struggling.
A good technical measure is gobsmacking. I know that, you know, gobsmacking. You know, it was like a mega slap on the face, going, whoa, this really is transformative, you know. Yeah.
What would, it's always hard to kind of pin it down to one thing, but what are the most valuable things do you think you've taken from your experiences in the corps to get to kind of take you through that transition into acting and to doing it full time now?
I mean, it's this, I don't know, maybe it's a classic, oh, you've been so long in the forces, you're just a product of a system and all that. But whatever you have in life, and I'm like that, whatever you have in life, I know there are certain methods and means of management and systems of production we use nowadays, but there is always a sort of military vein running through. No matter what anyone said, everyone said, no, it's, you know, I said, right. But when you're in a theatre company, you're the cast, you're the players, you're the soldiers. Who's the manager? Who's the officer in charge? Who does the logistics, the G4? When you're working for Steven Spielberg, or, you know, I mean, maybe a couple £100 million project, but it starts with, right, that's the actor number one there. That's it. That's a director. That's the support. Who gets the intelligence? Who does the research? Yeah. Everything that there just goes back. Logistical support, massive. Can we do that? Can we afford that? So we're doing finance, we're doing this. So I'm going, isn't that exactly the same as a military operation? Who's in overall charge? Oh, the producer. You know what I mean? Is he, who's the CEO? Is the director, the ops officer? Is he there? But they all have there is, and remember, there's a status in there. Some people have that. We have to listen to that there. When you're, it's best when the two dynamics of, for me as an actor, like you've got film, you've got theatre. In theatre, obviously, the director coordinates it all. You get there, you're living in your character's role, you're engaging, you're connecting with all the people on stage. You maintain, you know, that connection, which is again is operating on the ground as you do as a soldier. Yeah. But you'll get the director will go back and go, right, now, can you do this? Here's your notes. So your notes are this, and this, transform this, and this, and you do it. But when you step back on the stage, then you've got those notes, but you still own it again. Whereas when you do film, you'll get the director's notes and everything else now, and then you'll go, right, cut, can we do that again? Cut, can we do that again? Cut, can we do that again? And then you have to, you in a way, go, right, no, I've got to get this right. I've got to get it right. I've got to be in his mind and do that and think about that screen and get inside there and go what way they want it, what look they want. And it's very, as an actor, they are so different, but very similar in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? But it's with that. But for me, the thing that's helped me is just that completely military understanding. What time you want me there, what rig you want me in, what do you want me to do, who do you want me to be? And that goes the same as, like, you know, no one said that acting thing. No one, one of the stories I've said before is, you know, if you run the Shura in Afghanistan, so you're going into a village, you're going to meet a person. Normally the village elders, male, oh God, you meet a village, you're in the mountains in Western Afghanistan, and you're there, you've got no malice, you've got no hatred. You've obviously got a battle with people that are probably persecuting them anyway, or making them live in fear. Yeah. So you're going to meet him, but you want in some way to give him, he speaks a completely different language to you, so you're doing it through an interpreter, you're looking him straight in the eye, but you want to give him a message. And there's no malice and no hatred, but you have to perform. You've got to give him, it could be a firm message going, you need to be good. It could be, how can I help? You know what I mean? So you've got to be, and you've got to give it through your eyes, your mannerisms, your body. You've got to give a firm thing out there. But there's no malice, there's no hatred, there's no nothing. You've got to perform to make sure he understands what you've got to give him. Yeah. And if that's not acting at the best of times and doing it and giving reassurance is the best one, that trust, which is important, I think that helps. So you think about all those little experiences and understanding. When you come into the acting world, it's all very similar, you know. Yeah. I like that kind of that tie-in between those two worlds that are very different. Yeah. But with that commonality. But that's what I mean, because so many people say to me, going, "That's such a transition and so different." But I know maybe I'm waiting for something to hit me and say, "Yes, it is different." But I'm going, "No, it's not really. You still have to perform at the end of the day, and you have to get yourself onto that performance, and that has to be created, supported throughout it." And that's exactly the same as any sort of military evolution as well. So,
yeah,
maybe my bubble will burst one day and I'll go back and I'll go video. Yes, I remember I said that. It's all bollocks. But really, at the minute, it's all so true.
No, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. I can see that tie in very clearly. Now you've put it like that. That's nice. Actually, it's a nice distinction, but it's a nice bit of clarity.
Yeah. And that's obviously through my goggles rather than my binoculars, rather than somebody else's. It's just, it does give me clarity. You know what I mean? So even like when it comes to auditions or things like that, time, place, what you want to be, do it, do your research, do your recce's, rehearse, get yourself in there. You're there now, you're in the space. And that's my only thing. If I leave an audition and go, shit, I didn't do it right. You know what I mean? That is quite, but if I go there, give it and go, and come out and go, I quite like that, then I'm happy with myself. It'll never be perfect, because you must be, you go back and go, no, I'll do it again. And go, no, just go there. And if you be yourself, but the character, because every character, and I think every actor says it, it's got to be you somewhere in there. Even if I'm doing like a posh RP type of character, in there, there's little Tip Cullen getting out, but he's there. But obviously you dress it in different things, but it's still you as an individual, as an actor, that does it for the credibility and believability. That's how I see it. And when you educate yourself, and you're always, as an actor, you never stop getting educated. Like every people I work with, whether it be theatre work or film work, it's like, it's a raw marine thing. You're a sponge, aren't you? You go, I like that. Ooh, I don't like that. You know what I mean? And you take, I've through my career gone, in a way, you're going, you've looked at mentors, you're going, I like him, I'll take a bit of that. Ooh, don't like him. Ooh, you know what I mean? You've got to, and I think that puts you in a good place. And I think maybe a lot of people don't maybe follow the wrong guidance, you know what I mean? Or, and don't have that little sort of like component to go, there's something, I don't like that. Step back from that, but that is right. That's, you know what I mean? So just, you got to take, life's all about learning. And as an actor, I don't think I'll ever stop learning. So any little gems I get, I just pick up all the time and go, I like that. And it's good, because you're like, just go, because there's questions inside your head asking, well, how do I feel that way? Well, how would I do that? How would I get there? Who so there are little, not tricks. There's just different avenues to follow. And I think in life, that's exactly the same. You've got to pick the right avenue, and focus and give 100%. So it's not like nothing's a given. Absolutely nothing's a given, especially in this industry. Not. Especially like me, you know what I mean? I'm a sort of haggard old gent becoming an actor in his, shall we say, my formative years. No, that was my formative years. So I'm now, in a very sort of brutal industry, and just plan my trade. But with that, I'm glad that I am doing it, like I say, because of people that can't do it, but also because I'm in a position in my life, because my clan's also like grown up, and I've got grandchildren and things like that. And the responsibilities are very much, if say this was like 25, 30 years ago, I don't think I could do it, because I had too much responsibilities, and that commitment, and the insecurity of life in the industry as an actor. I don't think I could do it. There are other different disciplines within the industry I could have followed, which would be far more lucrative and, well paid and probably more steady. But I'm an actor, so that's the path I'm following. So I'm allowed to do it because of my stage of my life. If I was younger, it would be a lot more difficult, especially in your family or whatever choices in life you're going to make. So where are you going to live? Are you going to get a mortgage? Can't get a mortgage. I haven't got. So many things. So I'm in a. Well, for me, this was the time to do it, and it wasn't like, it was all planned. Remember, my decision to become an actor was from storytelling at Marjon University not long ago. So the decision's been made.
And you've like we do. I think we're very curious creatures, Royal Marines. We like to learn. We love to go on courses.
Oh, no, well, no, maybe not love to go on courses, but it's one of those you can't help but just start hoovering things up and try and be the best, the best that you can be. And it's all about what can I do? What can I deliver? How effective am I? How good am I? It's all your quality. The worst thing you could ever say to Roman is going, hey, you're a bit shit, a bit weaker, aren't you? A bit this, you're not going, what? But, and again, the depth we have and the understanding we have, we can use that. But when you're operating and you're there, you always want to give your best. No matter what, you want to give your best. And as long as we've got people that appreciate that people are giving the best, then I think the core's always in a safe place.
Yeah, I think you've gone from two industries that both give brutally honest feedback.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I'd say in the acting industry, the feedback isn't as brutally honest, but it's all about effects. So there's a lot of positivity, and I do enjoy that. I love the industry because there's a lot of positivity, but possibly people consider it over positivity. But it's nice to be positive all the time. But there's also the measurement of the sort of like the truths in it. Are they going, you don't get the job, and so so it's like getting let down lightly. We're in the core. I think we are brutally honest. They're going, maybe you should think about doing something else. Maybe there's something else. Maybe it's, you know what I mean? So, but with that, it still works. And I think the measurement of the core gives you a lot of life sort of rules or life experiences or lessons, definitely lessons I learned in the Royal Marines. Oh, completely. Without a shadow of doubt. And there's a few traumatic experiences that gave me those lessons as well.
Yeah. It's I know as hard as they are, they do shape us, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Make us better, I think.
I love it.
Yeah.
I was a 20. Because I sort of done reserve time as well. I've been a mountain leader for 27 years. Yeah. And I've gone, and I still got a little cheeky grin because you get when you train to that level and you sort of continue doing it, and you just have a little cheeky grin on your face when our younger people I work with, they just get exposure to these like traumatic events, whether it be operations or in environmental events, whether it be in Norway or sandstorms or jungle or anything. You just got this little, you've got this little sort of dark. It's not darkness because you know how capable the human being is and how far it can go and what environmental sort of like conditions it can put up with. Whereas it's all a learning experience for everyone else. So let's say even as an actor, I'm learning now, but same as a Marine, all those times you pushed it. It's always pushed the boundaries, but that makes you as a person so more confident on what you can achieve and what you can do. And I've got that in my bag now, and that's only from the duration, the survivability, the fact that I'm here still to do it, that I'm able to sort of have that in my bag, which helps as an actor. But it's just one of those little dog things that we like, isn't it? I mean, tomorrow I'm up filming at Fog and Tour, doing a little. We've got to do a little bit of Shakespeare with a couple of former Royal Marines that are filmmakers, and we're going to just have a few little experiments. And this is not paid role; it's just a bunch of bootleggers going, let's get up, get there. We'll do this here. We'll do a bit of Shakespeare. We'll do this here, run by Fog and Tour. And I'm going, how spooky is that? And I'm hoping they're like, oh, we need good weather because we're going to use drone and things like that. And I'm going, oh yeah. But I do like it when it's just a bit more blunt and that there. But the tech won't survive the sort of weather that I would prefer. But it'll still be lovely, and it's just again bunch of former bootleggers making magic.
And that's can't ask for better than that, really.
Yeah, no, I can't.
What a great day.
Yeah.
So what are you working on now? What have you been working on, and what are you working towards now?
Well, obviously we're still in. I am like this. My wife despises this speech. Apparently, so I never thought of it this way, but apparently, if you have a spaghetti bolognese or something, get a bit of the spaghetti on my beard. He has this face going, your face looks like a dog's ass. I'm not going, really? So nice. with a bit of a clinker hanging off, and I'm going, oh, what a pleasing head I must have. But so when it comes to kissing as well with a beard, you say, so it's that. I've got the beard at the minute because we're finishing off. We've just got a few very crux scenes to shoot for Sunray.
Yes.
I mean, because obviously the team has done a brilliant job. Got it where we are now. I thought I would be beardless and looking for a different look as an actor, but I'll have this until about late January, early February when we get the last scenes in, and then I'll probably want to keep my hair for a bit longer, but I'll be trimming back my beard. And maybe get rid of it. Just again, it just gives opportunities and different look as an actor. I'm also R&D in a play with Jonathan Guy Lewis at the minute called The Healing, which is good. That's with the Soldiers Arts Academy. I've had a couple of auditions this week, 3 or 4 actually in the last couple of weeks, waiting out for them, and they're just small sort of shooting things. One of them's quite chunky if it comes off. But the other ones are quite small, short films. But it's just keeping my fingers in pies and keep doing the job. So I'm quite happy to sort of go where I have to go and become who I have to be. And I mean, it's what I do now. It's what I do.
Yes, I'm having seen all the stuff that's been promoted out on Facebook about Sunray. Really, really looking forward to seeing that when it comes out.
Well, I'm an actor now, you know what I mean? But I've obviously been part of the team, the lads have created it from their, the team have created it from their own experiences. The way they've scripted it and layered it, and the cast that we've got, the diversity of the cast, but also the storylines and the sort of empowered, strong people in there as well, it is quite incredible. And I know that on the tech side of things, the filmmaking side, the triumphant, the three guys that are sort of our DPs, stroke producers, stroke directors, former Royal Marines, all 3 of them are very, very talented human beings. And for me, though, because this is very close to home, the storyline's brilliant. It's a thriller. Like I say, it's something that it's an action thing, but it's the integrity of it is really its central focal point. So for me, when it comes out, as long as we can get across to all those people that really, really matter to me, and this isn't just former Royal Marines, but former service people, veterans, people from the wider community that's faced trauma, just the issues that they have to deal with and have to put up with, but also the fondness and memories for the people that are lost and never made it. And I hope, no spoilers or anything, but I just hope that I know that will come out. I want that. That's the sacred thing, and that's all those people that I said that the reason I do it for. I want them and their families to sort of to get it. You know what I mean? Even though, like I say, it's a thriller. It's a completely made up story, but it is a lot of home truths in it as well.
I think it's gonna be another powerful one when it.
Well,
so when can we look forward to it?
I think it's going to be by the time we get the final scene shot, which are say the very crux scenes. We're going into post. We're looking more at Easter time now. It's not the timeline that the guys wanted, and there's a lot of interest in it from production and platforms and that. And we've just got to keep getting it out there, keep the fingers in pies, and get it on the correct platform. And I know when it does come out, it'll be incredible work. Not only because of my absolutely unbelievable acting capability, but also because the guys know how to make magic. And it's the old classic polishing a turd. I'm sure they can polish this old turd. You know what I mean?
I've been using that expression just recently. I did a talk on Saturday night, and I added to it, courtesy of somebody else's expression, is you can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter, which I thought was very strictly. So yeah,
it is, isn't it? Yeah. Which again, it's all part of it, and people support that rolled up in glitter.
Yes, I've felt like that turd sometimes being rolled in glitter.
Yeah. Let's hope it's not needed for this one.
No, I don't think so at all. No, I think it's going to be. From what I've read and understood and chatted to people about it, I think it looks like it's going to be an amazing piece.
It is. I mean, let's say we're looking at three episode series, whether it be online or wherever the platform is. But the team is such using it for a pilot, sort of like to see if if it's got legs. But there's so many people doing that type of thing because with digital imagery and digital filmmaking, we've got accessibility across the board now. So it's not like a niche. It's a very, very big and growing community of people making film work, which is brilliant because, you know, technology allows us to make some incredible stuff now. And it can be anybody. I mean, anyone can be a storyteller or a filmmaker. And I think it's brilliant to see. So whatever that's what we do get out of this, for me, Sunray it's all about our people. It's all about our people. And as long as that comes across, that for me is job done. And that's really, that's important for me, that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that from just exudes, you know, it's just
I know. Try not to be, you know what I mean?
No, it's a nice thing to see. Passion.
Oh, there's loads of that. I mean, like saying, and all the people involved in it feel the same way. And that's not only the veterans, that's all the cast. Like they come again from all corners and they fully get it. And it's I mean, let's just see how it goes. But I'm very, very confident.
Yeah, quite right too. Quite right too. There's no cuff too tough as always.
Sometimes that makes the best ones.
Yeah.
But that's it, but we're not, it's up and running sort of like, you know, professional production.
Absolutely. With your wealth of experience now from different perspectives, what advice would you give to somebody who's kind of in a transitionary period in life and finding it sometimes overwhelming?
For me, it's all about, remember we were talking about you've got to be happy in your salty old boots, wherever those boots are.
Yeah. Whether
they're a pair of scraggy old salty combat boots or whether they're pole dancing stilettos, it doesn't matter. The fact is you've got to be happy with who you are as a person. The move forward, I know for a lot of vulnerable people, they struggle and they find it hard. You've got to be able to focus on what you want and make everything measurable or, you know, achievable in some way. So little small gains, move forward, but always forward, never look back. And I've seen so many friends that really are struggling with moving forward. And I think it's like remembrance. Remembrance to me is so important because it is for remembering all those people that can't be with us today. And I've sacrificed so much, but we can't hang around with them still. I mean, I call on them to see them and, you know, and to help me, but it's always that way. It's got to be forward. It's like as an actor, I'm going, I get made redundant nearly every week. You know what I mean? I'll do maybe a 2-day film if I'm lucky. And then I'm done. Right, what's the next one? I just keep look forward, and just look at the next sort of job and what I can do. But life, whether it be, you know, from objective or subjective dangers through what happens you trigger or what life triggers for you, throws obstacles and blocks in the way for whatever you want to achieve. There's always something that you've got to, you know, overcome, a hurdle to overcome. And those hurdles could be, you know, 10-foot wide and 20-foot thick, and you think you're never going to get over it, but you've got to fight on and get over the top of it. Which again goes back to, like, you know, fundamentals for, you know, you fight through as a Royal Marine. Yeah. But I think for life, you really have got to keep doing that and just be realistic and understand that there are always going to be people and individuals and obstacles that will stop you achieving what you want. But it's got to be measurable. There's only going to be one Elvis Presley. There's only ever going to be one, you know what I mean, Steven Spielberg. There's only, but let there just only always be one of you. But you've just got to do, and if you've got a smile on your face, whatever you do, that's you. You are royalty then. You know what I mean? You're achieving what life's about. I mean, my wife, my soulmate, my partner, she is, you know what I mean? She's my role model. I look at, she's just like, you know, extremely strong, always smiling. I'm like the Victor Meldrew of the party, the miserable I would get type one. But she's, you know what I mean? And she makes it. But I learned so much now that you've got to look at yourself. You've been given a life, and that life is short for all of us, no matter what. Don't make it shorter, but also just have a smile on your face. If you have a smile on your face, it doesn't really matter how much money you've got. It doesn't matter how successful you are. If you're the best at something, it doesn't matter. When you've got a smile on your face, you know, you pick yourself good friends, and then rely on your family, and hopefully, you know, you've got a family that supports you and do what you do. But you know, even for my young colleagues at university, for me it is, you've got to be positive, got to have obstacles, you've got to keep fighting forward. But there's a certain thing about survivability. So whatever your targets, your focus is, you've got to be able to survive. So even if it's acting or any sort of new career path you have, first thing you've got to do is, right, how am I going to live, you know, to make this happen? So you've got to survive. So whatever the job you've got, especially when you're a young actor, you've got to have a job that's going to give you the flexibility to be able to cut away, do an audition, do this, do that, do what you do, but also bring you back, or because, you know what I mean, or use the skills you have to become something and maybe come back to. But you've got to be able to survive. And survivability isn't just you know, being able to feed and water yourself. It's about having a community around you, a support mechanism where you can, when you do get these knockbacks and fallbacks, you've got somebody to speak to, and do speak. Don't clam up. Be the person you are, and just speak to them. And also, you'll get, if you do speak, you'll get more home truths, because people go, "Is that realistic?" Don't ever stop your adventures or your winning out there, but obviously listen to guidance and help. And people, it's a classic one. You know, when you're young, your parents give you all these wise sort of words and everything. And when you're young, you're a bit obstreperous, aren't you? You're sort of, do they really know what, do they know what they're on about, this and that? And I look back to the words that my family and my father and my mother and everybody that I used to give it, you know. But now I'm going, no, it was all wise, and they do it because they love you. You want you to get on in life. And sometimes with my kids, I do the same. Give them this wonderful guidance, and they look like I'm exactly the same as I did when I looked at my father. Going, oh, really? But you can see as they go, you know, mature, and they are, like, every second we're maturing as it goes. They realize that you're given this information, these home truths, because of love. But you never want to stop anybody's adventure. You just want to give them guidance and give them the path. And then it's at the end, the only people that achieve anything is you and those salty old craggy boots or your stilettos. You're the one that's actually the one that's going to be there that make things happen. So you mean it is that. Always keep going forward. Do listen to good advice and keep a good support mechanism. I guess for me.
Nice. Listen, thank you, Tip. It's been an absolute pleasure to see you and speak to you again.
Yeah.
And thank you for your pearls of wisdom. And it's been I think that people are going to get an awful lot from this.
I hope so. Like I say, really just me spinning dits, telling stories.
That's what this is all about. Yeah. Pull up a sandbag.
As we do. Swing a lamp.
That's it. Yes. So listen, mate, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And well, if you're up for it, once it's all, you know, I'll keep you posted when things are going to go, when it goes live, and I'll, you know, we'll share it and get it as far and wide as possible.
Crack on with it. Like I say, I'm always just, like I say, I'm keeping fingers in pies. So if anyone needs a crusty old commando to do his bits and pieces, I'm here. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I will be telling everyone.
No worries. Cheers, Adsa.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Yeah.